Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today in War Thunder we're having a look at some new authentic decals which are going from the 4th of June to the 25th of June. So you have pretty much the whole month of June to be able to get these, and as usual they're doing some new ones and some old ones at the same time. I'm really happy that they're keeping up with this idea. I think this idea is really nice, bringing back some old decals and also bringing in some new ones. It definitely is the best thing to do in this scenario. So let's see what we have. We have the attacking bird emblem for the Flotille 17F, French Aero Naval, and then we have the emblem of the 32nd Armour Regiment, the coat of arms of the Norrbotten Air Force Wing, the lion emblem of the 269th Mechanized Infantry Brigade, then we have the emblem of the 3rd Tank Battalion, Japan, the emblem of the 315th Polish Fighter Squadron for the RAF, the skull emblem, then we have the emblem Willig of the 506th Schwer Panzerabteilung of Germany, then the emblem of the 8th Self-propelled Artillery Brigade of the USSR. So there's a lot of interesting stuff here, and if you want to see any of the other decals, they have been moved to, of course, their respective places. So let's have a look at these in game, let's discuss how to get them, let's talk about the methods that I'm personally going to be using. Also, understand that I've actually been streaming a lot of these decals recently, basically streaming getting them, so if you want some tips and tricks, it's worth checking out the Twitch channel. Now, on top of this as well, if you want to find out where these decals are in game, you can go to week's latest right here in your decal section. Unfortunately, the lion emblem, you have to 200G. There's no other way of getting it, so you have to drop a little bit of money on that one. And then if you want them in the sidebar highlighted so you can keep track of them, then you go to the decals page, you go down to week's latest, and then you can just add to favorites right here and just put them all over on the side. So let's go through them one by one. Let's talk about what I'm going to be using to get them, and then what is, in my opinion, the most efficient way. So first of all, we have attacking emblem. Players defeated is quite simple. It's also, let's see, it's Air Vehicles of France, rank 227. So you can use this one. These are the ones that I kind of call grinding decals. You can use them basically any level and from rank 2 and above, and you can use them just to grind out unspaded vehicles. So for me, something like the F6F5N, I can take this out into ground or air battles, and I can get, you know, kills. It doesn't really matter what rate I do them at, because we have plenty of time to do these, 19 days overall, and I can, you know, I can grind it out to get, you know, this plane spaded. If I want to do it as efficiently as possible, and I want to do it in aerialistic, then I use the P-63C5 or I use the Yak-3. Both of these are very competent aircraft, incredibly good in their roles. The other one that is a good shout is the VG-33C, but it did get up tiered, or BR'd, sorry, and it's not as strong as it used to be, but it's still very good. The other mentions as well would be stuff like the AD4 and the F4U7 in ground realistic, because ground kills do actually count in this. You just have to be in an air vehicle yourself. So there are a lot of options for France to be able to do this, but the main thing to understand is because there's no pressure like getting first or getting amount of points, just pretty much play vehicles that, you know, maybe you're not accustomed to, or play vehicles and research them and just get the kills as you go along. It's only 20 kills in RB. That's how you have to see it. So the next one is capturing zones for the US. So this is very similar to the first one, where this will just happen over time, especially if you use certain lineups. So for me, once again, I'll be using this to spade vehicles. So I've spaded rank 1, even though you can't use rank 1. Rank 2 is also spaded, rank 3 is also spaded, and rank 4 is also spaded, apart from the Duster. So therefore, we're having a look at rank 5, and once again, all spaded, apart from the M163. So therefore, we have to look at rank 6. And at rank 6, I have an 8.0 lineup. The 8.0 lineup is, of course, the Bradley, the Sheridan, and the M901, and I could put in the Starship. So I'm personally going to be using this lineup because most of the time you are guaranteed 1 or 2 capture zones in a battle, so therefore this will take me like 25 battles to do, maybe a little bit more, depending on the maps, and I'll be able to finish off my Sheridan, and also I'll be able to finish off my Bradley in the meantime. It's good to be efficient, meaning that you can do the decals alongside your grind, therefore you kill two birds with one stone. If you want to be as efficient as possible, what I would do is I'd take out the 2.3 lineup, the Stuart, the Canadian Stuart, and then something like the M3 Lee, and then the P400, and just run around like madmen in the Stuarts and just go cap everything. You know, that's probably the most efficient way of doing it. But since we don't have to be that efficient with this, because it's not something where we have to get firsts or whatever, just run around in vehicles to spade them and have fun in your favorite vehicles. The next one is the coat of arms of Norra Button Air Force Wing. Now, you have to get a mission score of 2,000 in air vehicles in Sweden. So generally 2,000 is around about 3 kills in air realistic. It might be a little bit more, like 3.5 kills. So that's what you should aim for. Now, there are a lot of planes for Sweden which can easily do this. One of the things that struck me is I had a look at my service record, and you've got to remember, so with the J26 and the J21RA and the A21RB, I used all of these in ground realistic. So I'm positive in ground realistic, apart from in the J26, where even then we are technically a 1.5 to 1 because these are all player kills. But then you have a look at, let's say, the J21, 21 and 3, the J22, 15 and 1, the J21A2, 12 and 5, T18, 12 and 3. You know, there's a lot of incredibly good fighters for Sweden. Basically, this line from the J22A to the J21A2, you can pick any of these, and you can just fly around and do a ton of damage to whatever you come across, because they all have insane guns, and at the same time, they all have really good maneuverability. They all fit the meta really well. And, you know, if you don't really enjoy them too much, just take out something like the B-18 and just fly at bombers and do a lot of damage. The other thing that you can do as well is you can get the ground forces to carry you a bit and then get in the plane at the end of the battle. If you want to do something like this, I'd suggest like a 3.7 lineup, PVKV2, L62 Anti-2, and then you can bring along the J21A2 and also the A21A3 and do it through that. But yeah, all you have to do is aim for 3 kills. I'm going to probably be doing it in the J22B. This thing is an insane fighter. Very, very good to be using. And you only need to do it 5 times, so it's not as if, you know, you have to do a crazy amount. And also you don't have to worry about winning, so just focus on your own individual performance. Then, once again, we have another missions played for 5. Mission scores are 2,000, and this is ground vehicles for Japan. So this is a little bit harder because you do make a little bit less score in tanks than you do planes. So generally, what I would suggest is you find a ground lineup which is pretty strong, which if we actually have a look at the lineups for Japan, that's not exactly easy to do because their lineups are all over the place. They don't really have a proper job lineup until you get to like maybe 7-0, 6-7, and even then it's not the best. Everything else is very higgledy-piggledy. So what we have to do is we have to identify a lineup, and then we have to identify planes which do well in that lineup, which will carry us to 2,000, and then we can get back into attack afterwards after the plane has done really well. So we need a plane which can kill tanks from the top, has a good bomb, and does generally quite a lot of damage. So the ones you're going to have a look for is like the B7A2, something like, if you want to play the air superiority role, like any of the Zeros or the J2M2. If you want to, you know, get 2 good bombs off, something like the P1Y1. The P1Y1 has a loadout of 2 500s, and those 500s are pretty deadly, so you could use that as well. But there isn't anything that is as easy, you know, as other nations. This one's actually quite a tricky one because of the fact that Japan doesn't have that solid lineup. If you want to go as low as possible, I mean, you go 2-3, you get the Chi-He. The Chi-He is a solid vehicle. It has a stabilizer on it. Its 47 is very nice. Not the best pen, but it does have APHE, so it can, pen through things and do quite a lot of damage. Then you got the Ho-Ni, which backs it up. You can bring the Ho-Ni 1 as well, or the Ho-I, which also has a 75 on it to do a lot of damage. So that's probably the lowest tier lineup you can do, because unfortunately the Chiha Kai is rank 1 and not rank 2. If you want to go a little bit higher, the 7-7 lineup is very appealing. If you have the 8-7 lineup, the Type 89, Type 87, and Type 74, I'd probably go for that. But if you don't, the 7-7 lineup, the STB can definitely carry you through a lot of games, backed up by the whole reproduction if you're fine with the repair cost. And yeah, that can do well. 6-7 as well, Type 61's not too bad, backed up by, if you have these spaded, these two, and then the Type 60 SPRG. So there is a chance you can work well with that lineup, but I think this one's probably one of the more tricky ones, just because of the fact that Japan doesn't have solid lineups, and you're going to have to depend on certain specific tanks that you are very comfortable with. The next one is finish first on your team. Missions played 4 air vehicles Britain to get to this Polish fighter squadron. So staying with the Polish ideal, the Battle of Britain of course, let's use some low tier Hurricanes. Hurricanes are monsters in this game. If you have never played the Hurricanes, I definitely would say give them a go. There's plenty of them now, so just play ones with 7-7s. Don't bother about the Mark 1C with all the Hispanos. Instead, use something like the Mark 2B Trop, or the Mark, well, maybe not the Mark 4. Use like the Mark 1 Late, or the Sea Hurricane Mark 1B, all 2.0 fighters, all very good at their role. And once again, we're aiming for first place, so what we need is probably 2, maybe 3 kills in a match in a realistic, and then after there's like one person left, normally like a bomber or something like that, then what we do is we go ground pound, right? So we make sure to secure the first place. Once again, we don't have to win the match, we just have to secure the first place. So you want to be aiming for like 3,000, 3,500 points. Once you've got that, then you can try and end the match, right? So you only have to do it 4 times as well, so it's not too hard. If you are confident enough to be able to get like 3 or 4 kills in a realistic every match, then yes, you should, play whatever you want in the British tree. But I think the Hurricanes are just the easiest to do at low tier to play and, get those kills that you need to. The only 2 aircraft you have to watch out for are the CW-21 and the HE-100, but you can get past them. The next one is the Willig emblem. This is just players defeated, and you have to play the heavy tanks of Germany. So there are plenty of heavy tanks for Germany all the way through some of the ranks, so pretty much starting off with the Tigers, and then you got the Tiger 2, the Tiger 2H, and then you've also got the Mouse, if you have the Mouse right here. So just use any of these vehicles. I don't think you can use the Nubber for Fahrzeug, it's even classed as a medium tank, so pretty much this is Tiger time, right? So for this decal, you're going to have to use Tigers or the Mouse if you have it. And once again, it's players defeated, so you don't have to worry too much about the actual... You don't have to worry too much about, doing well or anything like that. This is another one that'll just happen over time. 40 kills isn't that much. Think about if you run like a lineup of like the Tiger H1, the Tiger E, and then maybe you've got the Fairy Tiger, or maybe you've got the VK4501. So that's a 3-stack heavy tank lineup. And what that'll mean is, let's say you get like, you trade like 1 for 1, right? So you get 3 kills a game. That's only, what, 13, 14 games in order to get this decal. That's not too much when you put it like that. And because these repair costs are really low on these machines, you'll be making money as you're going. So see it as kind of like an SL grinder in a way, to be able to get yourself some more SL, and also maybe to spade the vehicles if you haven't. And if you want to be ultra hyper super duper competitive, then you just bring the Tiger 2P, the Tiger 2H. In my opinion, they're still very strong tanks, even though a lot of people say that they are outmatched. I think they're fine. Their gun is one of the best in the game at the BR, and they can just stomp when they feel like it. So yeah, I would definitely say just, play some of these and just have a bit of fun. And, you don't really have to worry about too much stuff in the world. Just, hold W and shoot things and have a bit of fun. The next one, and if you have the mouse, I'm going to probably be using the mouse because I want to spade the damn thing. But at the same time, if you don't have it, then hopefully they bring it back. Then you have the eagle emblem, which is the last one. And, wait, wasn't there another one? Did I miss it? There was like a torpedo one. Anyway, so the eagle emblem, players defeated 60, and you have to do it in a tank destroyer for the USSR. So this just means that you have to kill 30 in RB with tank destroyers. This is another one to use to spade tank destroyers. So any of this line really that you find here, I'm probably going to be playing the Su-85M, even though I don't know why this is 5.3 and this one is 4.3. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I'll be using this decal to give me impetus to spade this. Then if you really want to start tying nooses, you can definitely, play this lineup of the ISU-152 and then the 122, 122S. The SU-100 isn't actually too bad. The 122-54, now it's actually been dropped in BR, is kind of a formidable machine, pretty fun. But you can even go to the higher echelons and use something like a 268, once again, if you feel like, struggling. Or you can use like some of these guys, the SU-100 or the ASU-85. There's a lot of good options out there, and for me, I'm just going to use this to spade vehicles, and I think you should do too. 60 kills or 30 kills overall could get you a lower tier vehicle spaded. It'll definitely get this one spaded, the Su-85M. So that'll give you a little bit of bonus research to whatever you're researching, and also playing lower tier, you'll pay less in repair costs, so therefore you get a bunch of SL. Seems like the majority of people who are low on SL play a lot of high tier or are at high tier, and also don't have auto repair turned off. So make sure you turn off auto repair, and also use these decals to maybe get a bit of moolah left. Even in the last day, just on stream. I think it was like a 5.5 hour stream. I gained about 900,000 SL, and that was just by playing and spading certain vehicles. So yeah, use this experience to play some of the Soviet tank destroyers. If you want like picks of the better ones, Su-85 is very good. As I said, the 122-54 is not too bad. When we have a look at rank 2, the ZIS-30 is a bit of fun, and I suppose the Su-122 is a bit of fun too, just running around and donking people. I'm just going to check because I feel like I've missed a decal, because I'm sure there was a naval one around the place, or maybe not. Maybe I've just missed it. I'm just going to check the page real quick because I remember reading one. Yeah, there is one. Is it not in the game? It's like a skull one. Let's just have a look real quick. No, it is there. The skull emblem. Is it just not in this bit? Maybe I just missed it. No, it's just not here. What? Okay. So oh, my mind is blown. I need to do a count. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? And then authentic decals, we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's actually 2 of them that are missing from the achievements tab. That's really odd. So the first one is this one, the skull emblem. And what you have to do is you have to kill 10 players with torpedoes from Italy, but you have to do them from an air vehicle. So this is going to be rough, I think is the general consensus here. I would do it in Naval Arcade, obviously, because that's where you find player vehicles. Do it at the level of destroyers. So if you have the Geniere or the Geniere, and then do it at the level of destroyers, bring them along. And then what you want to do is, if you have the G55S, use the G55S, torpedo a few vessels. If you don't have the G55S, baby, you know what time it is. It's P108B time. Bring along those 3 torpedoes, see who you can mash with them, and have a bit of fun. That's pretty much your only options when it comes to Italy. The Big Bertha here, or the G55S, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's something to go for. You only need 10 kills overall, so this is definitely a way to be able to get into naval and be able to do this. So definitely you have time to be able to grind out the thing. Like, you have time to be able to grind out the what's the word? You have time to grind out the Italian naval tree, like the stars and stuff you need for it, and also at the same time, you know, get the torpedo kills. So I look forward to that. And we have looked at everyone else, actually, because the extra one is the lion one that I forgot about. So for some reason, this decal isn't in the achievements tab. Hopefully that's rectified, otherwise at least I'm going to forget about it. So yeah, hopefully that is fixed going forward. Anyway, as always, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Ambrosius McClellan, B. Young, Battling Bacon, Blackie, Chris Giltnane, Conte Baraka, Daniel Stanton, Elove Goat, Jay Wilt, Martinez, Trigger Hippie, Universe, Eugens Terry, and also I'm Devilish and Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.